Hi, thanks very much for joining me for Marketing Monday. If you're a little bit confused about the start time of today's live program, it's because some of the world has already gone through daylight savings time while others of us have not. So, how do you choose which launch time to work on? I don't know. I've never found a really good solution, but today I chose to stick with my normal 5 p.m. post. So, if your time has changed, sorry about the inconvenience. We'll all be back on the same clock here in a couple of weeks. All right, first things first, we got our coffee, caramel macchiato, nice and foamy for today. That's good. Lifting that big old cup, that also takes care of my cardio for the day. So click, check that one off the list. And let's move on to what we're going to talk about today. Today, we want to talk about 7 different marketing activities that mediators and arbitrators can do to build your practice, and each of them take less of an hour. It's really frequent that we have big chunks of time that are consumed, half day or full day mediations or arbitrations. And as business people, we find ourselves with just those little slivers of time sort of in between cases, maybe an hour or two in the morning or a longer lunch or an hour or two in the evening. It's hard to really sit down and do a big push for your marketing, but that you don't really have to. There are lots of little things you can do, 1 thing a day, 2 things a day, that move your practice forward. And we want to be able to have a good list of things that are possible for us so that we can take advantage of all those little slivers of time in the in-between hours, right? So let's start with item number 1. The first one we want to talk about is conducting a focus group of your most valuable clients or prospective clients. And when I say focus group, it doesn't have to be the old-fashioned traditional, marketing men kind of a focus group. You can just talk to your clients. You could also send out a traditional survey about your services or our industry or anything at all that you're curious about. Use a company like SurveyMonkey. You could put together a poll on LinkedIn. Absolutely works. Next time, maybe you're giving a webinar on Zoom. Zoom lets you do polls. You could put up a poll on Zoom. But the easiest thing to do is use your follow-up forms that I hope all of you are sending out. And so when you've settled or not settled a case, there's always the closing documents, those forms that you send after the fact. And when you send those, you should be sending out some document that says essentially, did I do a good job for you? What did you like? What did you not like? Would you like to provide a testimonial? All of those kinds of things. And ask the question. As neutrals, we're really good at asking those questions. And you want to be sure that as a business person, you're asking those questions as well. So conduct a little survey, formal, informal, but get some feedback from your clients or your prospective clients about what it is they want, how they want it. Are they comfortable with the X rate or the Y rate? Who are their clients? What are their concerns? What can we do better? Maybe something we've dropped a ball, doing something not as well as we could have. Ask those questions, and then noting the answers, make the necessary changes. And that's a really good way to promote your practice. 1, because it reminds people who you are and what you do. Right? That's important. But it also shows them, proves to them that you are professional, that you are conscientious about your practice in particular and our industry in general. And that's a really good thing, right? So ask some questions, find out what people like, what they don't like, and make changes. Another really easy, fun activity is to look at your website. Now, I know I've said it before. If you're not new here, this might be your first time. But if you've watched these programs before, you know that I firmly, absolutely believe that you must have a personal website. It is 2022. You have to have a website for your practice. And a lot of us have had a practice for years and years and years, right? Some of us have had a website for 20, 25 years. We were some of the very first consumers of website platforms. And if that's you, or if you just built your website last year, it doesn't really make a difference how long your site has been up. What is important is that from time to time, you open your website and with a critical eye, look at what you're presenting to the world. Look at the image, look at the colors, look at the language. Have your services changed? Have your prices changed? Do you need to incorporate new technology onto your website? Do you need to add a blog? Do you need to add video content? Do you need to have podcasting? Is your website ADA compliant? There are lots of different things that we need to consider when we're looking at our websites. You also want to be sure that you open your website on a desktop, a laptop, a tablet, and a smartphone so that you can see what different consumers see when they log on to your website. What is it like to fill out your contact form on a smartphone? Is it fine or is it really frustrating? And maybe you're losing some potential clients there. How do the images move? What does the video look like? How does the sound play? All of those things. So take a few minutes and imagine that you're a complete stranger visiting your website for the first time. How does it look? How does it work? How does it respond? Then, two, be sure that you look at the content. What is the majority of your content? Is your website built as a microsite so that it's essentially a really pretty graphic representation of your bio, CV, and resume? Or is your website a hub of information? Is it a place that is a resource for people to go? Is it chock-a-block full of articles and videos and links so that people can look for a lot of different answers to a lot of different questions? And then a little bit of your site is about you. So you kind of have to pick what sort of website you want to put out. What's your goal in having your website up for the public to look at? And then again, with a critical eye, go back and make sure that all of those things are falling into place, that they are the ambassador for your practice that you need and want them to be. All right. If once you've done those, you decide that some changes need to be made, right? Maybe you need to upgrade, you need to update the contact form, or now you've got an online calendar that you'd like to have integrated into your website. Maybe you'd like to have a credit card portal so that people can pay you online. It might be that you now want to integrate blog, or you've got a new LinkedIn profile page that needs to be linked onto your website. Maybe you've been interviewed on someone's podcast or YouTube channel and you need to connect that information on your website. Whatever that situation is, you now have to make a decision about whether or not you want to make those changes to your website or you want to hire someone else to do it. Now, if you are the kind of person that has those skills naturally, excellent. You should absolutely go ahead and make those changes on your own. If you're tech curious and you want to learn, you sure can do that. Almost every website platform, Squarespace, Wix, WordPress, they all have tutorials that you can watch. They all have help desks so that you can type a message and say, this is my issue, this is my concern. If you don't find the answer there, you can always, like the rest of the world, go to Google, type in your issue, and loads of different articles will come up. In addition, lots of different YouTube video tutorials will come up in that Google search, and you'll be able to watch a professional go through that process. And you can therefore learn how to change or add or edit or alter your website in the way that you need to have it renovated and renewed. That's not you, if that just sounds like a nightmare, I understand, I really do. So if you're not interested in that at all, then it's better for you to just find someone who can design, who can change, who can update, who can upgrade, who can, refresh your website the way you want it to be. And if you're not in contact with the person who originally launched your website, that's okay. There are lots of different designers and professionals available. If you don't have one, let me know and I'll refer you to someone. But you can, again, do a Google search. You can search on LinkedIn and find someone to help you do it. The worst thing you can do, though, is just ignore it and pretend that it's okay when you know that it could be better. So you can make the changes yourself. You can learn to make those changes. You can hire an expert to do that for you, but don't just let it continue to slide by unattended to. That's bad form. We don't want to do that. So that was number 3. The next thing that we can do to build and promote our practices, if we've only got minutes or even an hour a day, is to research what kind of promotional products might be good for us to use at our next networking event or that we can leave on our conference room tables. Now, this is a great activity. If you just need something that's totally different and a little bit fun and maybe even a little bit wacky, log on to Google and look for promotional product companies. And you'll see a huge array of products that you can put your name, your logo, your messaging on, and then have those available. So for most of us mediators, we would want to have, for example, notepads printed up that has our name and our logo, and put out a notepad, a pencil, again with our name or logo, or a pen with our name and logo, next to each one of those tablets, and make those available for everyone in your conference room, right? That's a really appropriate promotional item to have. Let people know that they can keep them when the mediation is concluded. Even if you don't settle, they should be welcome to keep the pen, the pencil, and the tablet. If you are going to attend a conference that is comprised of your primary or secondary target market, possibly become a sponsor. Think about providing the little tote bags, again, with your information on them, or some of the internal items. So you could have sticky note tablets printed up with your name and information on them. You can have coasters created. You can have all kinds of really fun, different items, stress balls, etc. But spending a little time, those few minutes, an hour, what have you, on this particular task, it's fun, it's different, it's creative, and you might find something that absolutely fits your practice, your authentic personality as a provider, and is appropriate for your target market. A note of caution here: if you're an arbitrator, this task might not be for you. We don't want to have someone assume that we're giving a gift, a promotional item, in return for business. And so maintaining that neutrality, if you're an arbitrator, this one might not be for you. But for most of us who are mediating, this one can be a lot of fun. All right. Next on our list, number 5, write or refine your elevator speech or your elevator pitch, however you'd like to describe it. And this is, again, it's kind of fun. And some of us have sort of gotten stuck with the old response to the very normal North American question, what do you do? And North Americans love asking this question, what do you do? And as neutrals, as mediators, as arbitrators, as business people, we need to have a solid answer. And so for most of us, that solid answer needs to say who we are, what we do, how we do it, or for whom. And it needs to be pretty short, maybe 2 full sentences, right? Better just 1. And this is the kind of phrase, this is not a mission statement, that's much longer, and that's just for you. This elevator pitch or elevator speech is theoretically designed so that if you get onto an elevator on the 3rd floor and you hit lobby, and there's another person in the elevator who asks you the question, what do you do? You've got those 3 floors to say who you are, what you do, how you do it, or for whom. And so having not a canned, not a scripted response, but a prepared response that you can have some flexible use over depending on the situation, that's what we're looking for here. And so, for example, if I were at a legal conference and someone said, Natalie, what do you do? I would say, I help mediators and arbitrators around the globe to design, promote, and build their practices. That's what I do. That's who I am. That's what I do. Those are the people I work with. Those are the activities I'm engaged in. And that one phrase says exactly what it is. Now, I might change it up a little bit depending on the situation, but for the most part, that's my elevator speech. Now, have I practiced it? You bet. Over the last 27 years, I've had a little practice at it. But you can practice. Again, you don't want it to sound scripted. You don't want it to sound canned. That's not the idea. The idea is that it sounds conversational, that it's natural. That's what we're looking for here. So for some of you, you might want to have a couple of different versions of your preferred elevator speech or elevator pitch. All right. And again, just a few minutes to do this, maybe an hour to get this done and get a little practice in. Number 6 of the small tasks that we can do in a short amount of time that could make a big difference in the success of our practice is to read a marketing book. Again, one of the most common denominators amongst all of my most successful clients is that they understand that they are first and foremost a business person, an entrepreneur, right? They happen to be mediators or arbitrators, but they're first and foremost a business person. And that distinction is really, really important because it's a mindset. And that's really what we're looking for here. Entrepreneurs and business people read marketing books. They understand that not every marketing book that they pick up is going to apply to our industry or what we're comfortable doing or what is available for us as neutrals to do. But somewhere in that book, something's going to turn that toggle on, and we're going to get an idea. We're going to find something that will work for us, and we want to be sure that we pursue that. So find a marketing book that is specific to marketing a service, not a product. We're not selling coffee cups. We're not selling t-shirts. We're selling interpersonal business services, and that's a different thing. And so if the marketing book you pick up talks about how to sell your services as a real estate agent, absolutely perfect, right? You don't sell real estate, but in that same vein of service practice, you can get a lot of good ideas. So any of those books. You can also look at sort of basic entrepreneurship books that will, really sort of keep your mind where it needs to be, and that is that you're a business person, you're an entrepreneur. So grab a marketing book. When you find that marketing book that you think might be just right for you, have next to it a pad and pencil so that you can jot down ideas, jot down notes, so that as you're going, you can say, oh, chapter 7, think about how you can refine or rework that idea concept for your practice, right? So make it personal. Number 7, and the last on our list, is to use those few minutes or those hours in between to make a list of gatekeeper associations and organizations that might be worth you joining. So for lots of us, we've got not just a primary target market and a secondary target market. We've also got a tertiary target market that is comprised of those individuals that could refer cases to us when it's appropriate. So for example, if you are hearing family and divorce cases, a great tertiary target market for you would be accountants, real estate agents, hairdressers. There's a lot of different people who could refer work your way. Those are the people who sort of have the inside track. Those are the people that your clients are trusting of already, right? So make a list of those tertiary target markets, groups, or people, and then figure out what organizations and associations they belong to so that you too can join those associations and organizations and start networking within those groups, start making those interpersonal contacts, meet those people, let them know that you are a professional at what you do, you are a credible authority on what you do, and that you would absolutely take best care of them, that you would not let them down if they referred someone to your practice. So that's a fun and easy thing that you can do to fill those strange minutes or strange hours in between hearing cases. So there you go. 7 things to do in the short minutes or short hours that will help you build and promote your practice. If you have any questions, concerns, requests, be sure you let me know. Comment in the comment section, send me a DM. And if you've got an idea for a Marketing Monday that you want me to address, also let me know. I'm always interested in covering those things you're most curious about. Well, that's it for me. My name is Natalie Armstrong-Motin with Marketing Resolution. I really appreciate that you joined me today. Hope you're having a good day. Wish you nothing but the best. And that's it. Be good humans.